I just got done watching the CGI animated film, The Phantom Menace. Welcome back to Not Your Normal Guy, where we discuss the implications of media, especially that of Disney movies. Today, we are talking once again about Star Wars. Generally, we talk mostly about Disney movies on this channel. However, and Star Wars is a Disney movie now, so I'm completely justified in talking about Star Wars. But because of the coming release of Star Wars Episode 9, we are going to be discussing every Star Wars movie that has been released so far. You can check out every Star Wars review that I have done so far. You can find them down in the description, or you can also find them on the end card at the end of this video. And so far, watching all of these Star Wars movies has been a blast. I've really enjoyed it because I've never seen episodes 1, 4, 5, or 6. But now I have, and I've really liked them all. Except today, I'm now watching episode 1. And this was by far the worst movie that I've seen out of the Star Wars saga. So let's discuss. We start this movie with a young Obi-Wan Kenobi and his advisor Qui-Gon. I think advisor is the right word, but I'm probably not right about that. There's a fight at the very beginning that's a little bit interesting, and then the next hour and a half is the most boring piece of cinema I've ever seen. This has taken me 3 days to get through. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan escape. They go into a forest area where Obi-Wan saves the life of Jar Jar Binks, the accursed Jar Jar Binks. I could have lived this entire 32 years without having ever listened to Jar Jar Binks as much as I did in this movie. I hate it. I hate it. I liked the last movie. I was very happy at the last movie. I'm so tense after this movie. I don't like any of it. I didn't like this movie at all. And I knew, I kind of had a presupposition that this was going to be a bad movie, but I tried to come into it with an open mind. After Anakin wins the race, at that point it was at about the hour 25 mark, something like that, and I thought surely this movie is over, and I saw it was another hour, and I went, well, that's the end of this. I can't do this anymore. I gotta go to sleep. I was so tired, and it wasn't that late either. It was 9:30, and I just went to bed. I was like, I can't keep this up. I can't keep watching this slug of a movie. This is the worst movie. I'm actively losing joy talking about this movie. They get onto a new planet and a new city where they are meeting with someone who owns a lot of slaves. It's the little guy that has the wings, and he owns Anakin and he owns Anakin's mom. They're both slaves. Then Anakin goes on a race, and that race takes 20 minutes, I swear. It plays no part in the development of these characters. It does nothing to further the plot of this movie. I genuinely am at a loss for why that race scene had to be so long. Then it's just gut-wrenching and awful, because then he has to leave his mom. He earns his freedom from the slave owner, but for some reason that seemed very contrived, they couldn't get his mom to come with him. I mean, honestly, if push came to shove, Qui-Gon is a Jedi anyway. Maybe Jedi aren't supposed to just kill people, but you can't just smuggle his mom out with you. You can't work some sort of Jedi magic against it, take his mom. He's like a 6-year-old kid. Then we have to watch Anakin just leave his mom. And I know that does play bearing in the future, because that's a lot of his motivation for why he ends up turning evil after his mom is killed. And I'll wait to talk about that more. You don't see any kind of a real response from him. He doesn't cry. He's not sad. He says he'll come back and he'll save her. Well, then, or set her free. First of all, okay, here's the first real problem I see with this movie altogether. Anakin is way too young for 1,000 different reasons. But one of the reasons is because he leaves his mom as this 6-year-old kid. Then he's actively making like lovey-dovey eyes at Queen Amidala. Or she's like a 15-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid. He's like 6, somewhere between 6 and 8. Why is this happening? It's creepy. Then he's supposed to be too old. What is a 6-year-old too old to do? He's not too old to learn things at this point. He's just at that point where he's able to learn. So why could they, if he was supposed to be too old anyway, why could they have not made him a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, someone who would make sense with Queen Amidala actually having some sort of chemistry with her to some degree? Then at that point also, you'd be old enough where the idea that maybe this kid who has wanted to be a Jedi all his life might actually be reasonably able to leave his mom for like 2 years, something like that, and then come back when he's 18, 20, something like that, and come try to save his mom. Basically, the plan is he's going to leave, he's going to learn, he's going to come back, and he's going to rescue her from being a slave. Okay, now I see a motivation, I see a plot, I see a plan, and all those plot points all make sense together. But in this case, none of it makes sense because he is this 6-year-old kid, and I don't like I'm cringing even now talking about it, because I don't like seeing all these things happening to this child. I do like some of the socio-political kind of things that they talk about in this movie. I do enjoy the CGI. I swear this is just an animated movie. This might as well just be Walt Disney's animated Alice comedies. He superimposed a live girl in a whole bunch of animation. That's exactly what this movie is. This movie is all just animation with like 3 live characters that happen to be superimposed into it via green screen. Finally, at the end, Qui-Gon is killed, which results in another like trademark no scene, which I thought was funny because it's so famous from Darth Vader. But obviously there was a precedent set by this series for that to be the case. Obi-Wan Kenobi takes Anakin under his wing basically out of duress. It's because basically in his mind, that was like the dying wish of Qui-Gon. They've been saying this whole time that Anakin is a danger and is evil, and I'm not quite sure where they're going with that. I want to say it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like this series can't decide, is evil a response to other people, or is evil something that's almost inbred in you? And there was no real decision on that. I think this story thinks that it was destiny that Darth Vader was going to be evil. It's destiny, and it's the way things work, that Darth Sidious is evil. Darth Sidious is just evil because he's just evil, not because he has a reason to be evil. And it almost seems like they were trying to flesh out and give reasons why Anakin becomes evil. But it turns out really it's just because Anakin has too many midichlorians. But I see this option here, this possibility that Anakin could have turned evil because his advisor didn't want to advise him. His trainer didn't want to train him. He didn't want, Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't want to pair up with him. I can see where there could have been a logic, and the frustration of that paired with the utter boringness that was this movie just makes me like this movie so very little. So the running rankings for this is I now have episode 1 in last place, followed by, in sequential order, 4, 5, and 6. I would like to hear from you guys. what do you think about this movie? Maybe some of you really like it. Maybe some of you were kind of raised on it. So maybe that's something that you guys have more positive memories, and that's fine if that's what you have. So please tell me what you like. And if there's things that I got wrong on this or where you feel it's wrong, please enlighten me. I like to hear from you guys because I'm trying to learn how to like Star Wars. So it's working, but it's not working with this movie at all. Another thing that this movie is showing me, though, is I have some very specific theories about the newest Star Wars movies that I'm fleshing out as I'm watching all these movies together, and that'll be the last video that we'll do. So I'll talk with you guys about the theories that I have coming up. I think it'll be fun. And so far, this movie is fleshing out some of those theories for me. I'll talk with you guys later. Please subscribe, like, comment, tell me some things that you want me to know. And I'll see you guys again in another couple days for another video. Bye.